Excuse me. That's better. There are two things you should know about me. First, I, Thaddeus Herman Schweibel, am now 132 years old. Second, I am a newspaperman to my very core. Printer's ink flows through my veins. You know, I edited and published my own newspaper, The Onion. You've heard of it. It all began way back in 1910. A new century dawned. United States leads world in industry. Thanks, orphans, grateful Americans say. Yes, America is on top of the world. USA, US. And the proud gratitude of our nation is being extended daily towards the world's orphans, who are helping to turn the wheels of progress with their tiny hands. Yes, these tops are doing a splendid job. You know, a few years ago, I had to pay adult laborers $3 a week each. But the young ones will do the same work for a mere ladle of broth, and with nary a complaint. I used to have a dolly once, but then she fell into the machine and it ate her. Just like it ate my daddy. Thanks again, orphans. Orphans. I only wish I could remember more of the 20th century. It all starts to get a little hazy after 1912. Ha! But I have been assured that it was quite eventful. Remember all of the arguing about fake news a few years ago? Yeah. I always found it sort of interesting, because since the beginning of time, we've used fictional narratives to sell a story or make a point. What's missing today is humor. Satire is one of our greatest and most beloved forms of comedy and communication. From Aristophanes 2,400 years ago, to George Orwell's Animal Farm, or to the recently deceased Twitter feed of Donald Trump. The Onion is a satirical newspaper that exploded with the dawn of the internet as one of its first ever websites. It covers current events, sometimes real, usually fictional. It satirizes, it offends, but above all, it does what everyone in Humorous sets out to do: make people laugh. The Onion presents Our Dumb Century by Scott Dickers et al. April 16th, 1912. Extra, extra, read all about it! World's largest metaphor, it's iceberg! Titanic! Representation of man's ego sinks into North Atlantic, and stewardesses kindly asked third-class passengers to drown. The standard rescue procedure is as follows. First, women and children of the first class. Then, gentlemen of the first class. Then, their pets' clothes, and finally, their coffee mugs. Then, and only then, will the second and third class passengers be respectfully accommodated. It is with a great sense of pride and accomplishment that I look back upon this great 20th century of ours, where a lot of things happened. For example, there were several wars in Europe, something I highly endorse because goddamn those Europeans, am I right? With their leather short pants and their wooden shoes and their keeping of bitty goats on top of the houses. And August 5th, 1914, war declared by all. Austria declares war on Serbia, declares war on Germany, declares war on France, declares war on Britain, and an area drunkard declares war on Ireland. Ah! I'll lick 'em all to death! Those filthy potato-eating paupers there! October 22nd, 1929. Stock market invincible. Experts advise buy. Hoover promises an airplane in every garage by 1935. And furthermore, I've submitted a proposal to Congress that states that all of our nation's streets will be paved in diamonds. October 29th, 1929. Stock market crashes. Millions thrust into desperate poverty. Analysts report an optimistic 4,000% rise in suicide rates. I'm okay. December 3rd, 1933. Stalin announces his 5-year everybody dies plan. This is a plan that can work, whether it is by government-backed murder, war, starvation, or disease. The people of my Soviet Union are very good at dying. September 19th, 1939. War, again. Hitler invades Greece, Yugoslavia, Luxembourg, but not Ireland. Ah! I'll lick 'em all to death, I say. I'll lick 'em all. March 4th, 1945. Hitler commits suicide. Therapists say the ravaging of Europe was a desperate cry for help. This is classic attention-seeking behavior, as I discuss in my novel, Genocidus Tragedyitis. Oh, yes. If only we had known how poor Adolf was feeling on the inside. After my father's death in the war, I assumed full editorship of the newspaper. I moved the headquarters to an industrial metropolis that reinvigorated my spirits, but stank of rancid cow. July 15th, 1955. White people invent rock and roll. Oh, yes! Clearly, this craze has been caused by our stirring white spirituals. What gospel music, I tell you. It's a fiery noise that is constantly being raised up to God. And is the only possible explanation for this rock and roll. As I was saying, it was a complex and changing world. So I decided to reinvigorate my newspaper a bit with actors, actresses, celebrity public appearances, and of course their deaths. For example, August 1977. Elvis. Elvis dead. But is Elvis alive? You know, the fact that he wasn't breathing, that he was cold and colorless, that they found gigantic amounts of heroin and alcohol and codeine in his system, led me to wonder, could he be alive? April 12th, 1986. Mr. T releases his annual pity list. This year, I pity the following fools: Hulk Hogan, Sylvester Stallone, that little fuzzy red dude from Sesame Street, and white kids that make me sound like Mike Tyson in their speeches. December 31st, 1999. Planet closed due to a Y2K, and meteors are headed towards the Earth. This is the 20th century, signing off. As I look back, I realized that these were the golden years of my onion. We successfully captured, conveyed a sense of the human spirit, and may still do so to this very day. I wouldn't know, I haven't read in a while. But to the wretched thing, my dear friends, you are welcome.